Hi, it's me, Ingrid INFP, and I hope that you liked my last video about escaping Von Pete's cult. I know that some of you didn't. I think that some people are still part of the cult, and therefore decided that I had betrayed their cult. Um, yeah. I lost about 10 subscribers just because of that video. Anyway, there's no point in hiding anymore because Pete found the comment. Obviously, I hadn't thought of that. I was posting it on my channel, so obviously it's me. Didn't think that through. Of course, I thought it through. I just thought it was funny. I've been reading a book and sitting here in the forest, and I spent midsummer with my INFJ friend. And as you guys maybe know, I'm not talking about my INFJ friend on this channel, but I will be talking about some of his ideas because they're good ideas. Okay, so we talked about a lot of different MBTI stuff, and a lot of it was Socionics. I don't understand Socionics really, and I never really researched it, but there is a certain thing about relationships. It's pretty good with that, and it's also pretty good with explaining things that MBTI can't really explain in how the types are. I do like how the Socionics describes the functions. And that's where I'm going to make this video about this, is that in Socionics, FE is more about expressing your authentic emotion, while FI is more about knowing how close you are to people and things, so the interpersonal. And that's interesting because in MBTI it's kind of the other way around, that FI users will want to express their truth, express themselves, and in the MBTI system, FE users are the ones who are more into interpersonal connections. And it's kind of a slight nuance to that, because yes, I agree with the fact FI can be both interpersonal connections and having deep feelings that you want to express. And FE can both be expressing yourself, but dealing with other people's emotions. It's just there's a slight flavor to it. This is a little bit different. Apparently TE and SE are also pretty similar in Socionics, which kind of makes sense. Both of them are kind of forceful. I do like the SE version of what SE, the Socionics version of SE, because it's about exerting your will on the world, and that feels a little bit more like the stuff that I struggle with compared to stuff that people usually consider SE. We all use our five senses, so obviously we're not going to be having struggles with seeing things or hearing things just because we're INFP. I think that it's more how our brain decides to store it and stuff. But I think that the problem isn't that we aren't aware of our five senses, because we are. It's more about exerting force on the world, taking action in the world, So that's where SE and T are just similar because they're both about taking action in the world. It's just slightly different. So SE is more about like, you know, exerting your will onto others, onto your environment, physically, but also in contexts where you're with others. So I do say that the definition of the functions is pretty good. They're based on Jung, but it's kind of in a different sense. But so that's about SE. But FI is about how close you are to people and things. And I find that to be very true. That's how I relate to the world. And that's how I find meaning in things. I find meaning in the stuff that's like is closer to me, or like, and I know where my friends and my family and the people are on that spectrum. I know where, like, I'm like this star and all these satellites are around, and I know like what gravitational pull is towards me, you know. I was giving an example of being in a bubble pool to my INFJ friend. Very any kind of metaphor, but it's kind of like you're there and there are all these bubbles and you can feel, you know, that what is close to you and what isn't. It's that feeling. And so I thought that was a pretty good definition of FI. Because then you see, well, like, why would FE users be so expressive? Why would they show their emotions more if that would make them at odds with the people around them? You know, because you think that FE is about, you know, creating harmony with the people around you. But actually, it's not really the case. A lot of times, high FE users will be very expressive. And they'll want to show what they're about, you know? I think that's, as FI users, we're more reserved in that way. My INFJ said it was more like stoic, which kind of makes sense. It's hard for me to see myself as stoic because, like, I feel like people can read me like a book. But I guess I'm not like into huge outbursts of emotion. I find it kind of useless to do so because I think that we were talking about ENFJs, and ENFJs, like, they want their emotions to have an impact on the world. And so they'll sometimes, you know, direct their emotions towards people. But I think that FI users, we're more aware of, like, that our emotions are our own and we need to stick by them. And we will sit with them in that bubble pool. We will sit in them and we will form our own conclusions, you know. In the MBTI, it seems that the feeling functions are more about how you make decisions based on feelings. But in Socionics, it's more like if your thinking is more based on ethics or based on rationality. So that's why it's called the EII. It's ethics, intuitive, introvert. Yeah, there's a picture of me on the Socionics site that looks like me in the past or something. It's some person in the 90s with glasses. I'll put the link in the description. She looks like she's like I'm her reincarnated, you know. So it's kind of weird. So yeah, we were talking about socionics and also about like negative and positive functions. RFI is positive, so that's good. RNE is negative though. There was like a lot to learn about these things. But I'd rather learn through my INFJ friend than actually reading about this. There was also about relationships, how the NPs in the MBTI are more likely to be childlike in they're the infantile relationship style, kind of, in the Socionics, which kind of makes sense though. So we had a really good talk about that. Mostly it's because we were analyzing my ISFJ friends and my ENFJ friends. I hung out with an ISFJ friend a few days ago and we went swimming. I hadn't gone to a swimming pool since before COVID, so this was kind of a big thing for me. Oh, the hourly train is coming. Okay. Yeah, anyway. So this ISFJ was really into, she's like a pretty, I mean, we're not really deep friends. We were friends in medical school, but then she wasn't in my class after a while, so then we lost contact for a few years. But now we're back and friends, and we went to the swimming pool, and it was kind of a weird situation. But anyway, she said that I was talking about different friends, and I said, yeah, well, it was pretty intense. And she said, yeah, but all of your relationships must be intense, Ingrid. She said that you're just always intense. And I was like, what? Am I so intense? And she said, yeah, this is intense. Our friendship is intense. I was like, this is just how I always am, She said it wasn't good or bad, but she was not used to such intensity. And it's like, yes, I do want to talk about deep emotions. I did not know that was intense. I thought that was just going beyond the superficial small talk. But yeah, I saw Psychastro make a video about things that INFPs do that we don't know that we do, and that is one of them, is that we are very intense. So yeah, I don't know what to do about that, but apparently we are intense. And I'll finish this off with a little story. Okay, since we were at the pool afterwards, my ISFJ friend, she's Finnish, she took off all of her clothes and went into the sauna. But like, I was kind of shocked because I haven't ever been to a sauna, only as a kid once. Really bad of me as a Swedish person to not have gone to the sauna. But the opportunity, I never took the opportunity. But she was just like in the changing room, this public changing room, and she was entirely naked. And then she just was like, I'll go into the sauna. Can you follow? Do you want to follow? And and then she went in. And I was like, okay, I guess. So I took off all my clothes and went to the sauna. I sat on a towel because like it's super hot, and like I had trouble breathing, so I don't know how relaxing this is supposed to be, but anyway. But so we were sitting there, and then we started talking about surgery, which was already kind of a weird topic to talk about in the sauna. But then, because we're both doctors, but then a third girl came in, and just a stranger, some extrovert of some sort. She came in and she was just like, hi. She was just like, hi. Do you mind if I sit between you guys? And like, she sat there before we had the chance to reply. And she and she had to witness our conversation. So it's just funny to imagine the situation where like we're all three naked girls, two of us are talking about surgery across one another in the sauna, and the poor stranger had to listen to us. Not at all the relaxing thing, but it was pretty funny situation. And so for me that was intense, but for this ISFJ this was not intense at all. This was just normal. So I think that our definition of intensity can vary wildly. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Do you know anything about Socionics? I really don't. What do you think about intensity and INFPs? I need to go because I'm getting bitten by mosquitoes. So yeah, have a great day. Bye.